Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, a new listing for Turbo just dropped, right? It just dropped. Not really just dropped, it dropped the other day, but I didn't create a Turbo video yesterday. Was just kind of out of it in general. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Listen, Turbo is now listed and ready to swap. Swap Turbo instantly on CoinoSwap with the full cross-chain support. No signups, no KYC, just seamless, non-custodial crypto swaps. So we can see, right, Turbo highlights AI created meme coin born with a $69 community experiment built for fun. You know, anyways, we don't have to go into all the details. We know what Turbo is about at this point. Someone said Turbo is a bad coin. It was outperformed by BTC for a whole year. Yeah, because we're still in the cycle of BTC being the main player, and then it's Ethereum, and then it's the big altcoins, and then it's our coins. So what I'm saying, people, you can't listen to everyone on the internet. It's just funny, right? Like, of course, we're not getting into it, but listen, new listing, right? New listing. So that's very, very good. That's what we love to see. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, roughly around 5,000 followers on Twitter for this page. Nothing else has come out. I don't think. Yep, nothing else has come out. But we see Turbo's consistently posting, which obviously is a good sign. Being active is always good. You know, guys, Turbo, crypto, it's very momentum heavy. Okay, it is very momentum heavy. I can even see from my own views, right? When crypto starts going up, views go up. When crypto skyrockets, views skyrocket, engagement skyrocket, holders skyrocket. It's just momentum based. It's very momentum based. It's very emotion based, and that is just the reality of crypto. And even just for Turbo, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding. And this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. But we can see, ladies and gentlemen, when we jump into the technical analysis, right, things have been looking very, very good. Things have been looking good, and things have been kind of looking good kind of ever since the beginning of September, right? We expected a recovery. We expected September to be a decent month. And we also know that the federal rate cuts are going to be happening. We're expected to drop 25 points. So it's very, very bullish, right? It's very, very bullish. And even, the last few weeks, the percentages have been kind of jumping. Like even if we go back 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were still around 75% for a cut. So it was still very, very high probabilities even back then. But look, we got the classic, ladies and gentlemen, where you know we take out these August lows, right? We take out these August lows, and then we start reversing. Look, overall, even though we have been failing to go higher and higher in terms of price action, right? And the way we've been closing, we can see we've been kind of closing around 0.0046, and we've had many rejections, right? We had a rejection here, rejection here, rejection here, and rejection here. So we've been rejecting multiple months, which obviously could seem, not ideal. It's not ideal in terms of timing, I would guess. Like, not necessarily timing, but how long things are taking. I know everyone just wants, big candles like this, where we were pump 136% in a week, or even higher. We pumped. I don't remember. It's 170%. So it's crazy. But it's just not how it works, right? Just not how it works. But we can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have been consistently creating higher and higher bottoms, right? That's what was so important for August. When we were getting down to those final moments, we were like, please just hold, because it was close, right? It was close. It was really, really close. And yeah, we can see it, right? We just got a nice sweep. When September started, we started to get reversal signs with the higher lows. We didn't know 100% yet, but then when we got this September 8th candle, it was pretty apparent. And ever since then, we've just been kind of going sideways for a couple of days. And now we are breaking out. We're looking to be challenging certain other zones, because that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're kind of going to be bouncing from zone to zone. So I wouldn't be surprised if Turbo, yeah, like I said, it's kind of rejects a little bit off here. And once we reject off here, which we already kind of have, you see we tapped into it, we should really start preparing and be brewing for a bigger, bigger, and bigger explosion. Now, the reason why I say bigger is because there's actually a lot of imbalance here, which means there's not a lot of real support and resistance. So once we kind of get past the final moments and the final real support and resistance, we should kind of fly kind of quickly. I would probably guess this is 10 to 15%. Yeah, 13%, right? 13%. Now, some of you might not be satisfied with that amount, but the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is, you got to realize, when the one time we weren't fundamental, it all kind of backfired anyways because we had to correct our positions. So there is no such thing as doing it fast, right? That when the fast comes, it means it's going to drop, a couple of weeks after that. So that is just the reality, right? That is just reality. So we want to be fundamental, especially over, September, because when we prepare for quarter four, that's when we can start seeing big, consistent bursts. And I don't mean just, we burst for one day and then we start recovering. We burst for 1 week and then we start recovering. No, I mean, that's when we can start seeing consistent bursts because all of that price action is going to get corrected in the bear season anyways, right? So yeah, that is that. Now I have moved coin confessions for those that do like coin confessions. I'm going to do them now. I still like them, but some people just want to get the information. Look, I started a game in the super hype cycle of 2020 to 2021 when people were throwing money at NFTs and land. I made over 500K and built the project. I burned it all away in the bear market on stupid stuff. Now I can't even pay my electrical bill. Which, by the way, that is concerning. I'm gonna assume that you just had a decent amount of money, maybe a couple grand. You flipped it because those lands went for a lot. I played Axie Infinity, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I played Axie Infinity, and yeah, that was a W. That was a W time. A couple years ago, Axie Infinity, the land, flipping the birds. I mean, even playing the game itself, that was really really fun. So I understand where this guy's coming from, but not being that smart with your money, not even being able to pay electric bill is a little concerning, right? It's a little concerning, man. From riches to rags, the cycle hits hard. Damn, another one of those stories gone. Another zero stories, bro. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But look, ladies and gentlemen, right? Things are the way they are, and Turbo is the way it is, right? Turbo is ranked 164 out of 9,497 active cryptos. We can see we have 305 million market cap, 26 million volume. So very, very solid, very, very nice. We have been kind of just holding around the 160 mark for the last week or two, but we will overtake sooner than later. We can see we have been going up in holders, nothing too crazy, roughly 10 to 15 a day, but that's still better than nothing. Once again, remember a lot of this is momentum based. So once we start going up consistently a couple percent a day, people are going to jump in on the bandwagon. People are going to jump in when we go up 30, 40%. And then when things have to correct, they're going to wonder what went wrong once again. But yeah, that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys do love meme coins, want weekly reports, technical analysis done, anything else, I mean, portfolio reviews, the time to join the private community is now. The next few months are going to be absolutely crucial. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Love you guys so much. Take care. Brush your hair, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.